Boker Tov, Boker Tov. Today's daf is daf Ayin Dalet in Baba Kama, as we learn for Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael and Asurim Batzara B'Shivya. The last couple of days we had two machlokas in between Abai and Rava. One machlokas was that, when you say Adam Zoman, is it the apostle? Is he going back to the time that he actually gave the testimony? Are they puzzled from then? So that if he is not puzzled from the time that they were found to be Adam Zoman, they're puzzled from the time that he actually gave the testimony. So any testimony he gave between then and now would also be no good. So Abaya says yes, Adam Zoman and Lafreyo puzzle. We paskin like Abaya in that case. What's one of the 6 cases that we paskin like Abaya al Kagam? That Adam Zoman Lamafreyu puzzled, not like Rava. In most cases we go like Rava. In the second machlokas we had yesterday between Abai and Rava was this question: two Adam contradict, two sets of Adam come. Set number 1, set number 2, they contradict each other. Set number 1 says Reuben killed Shimon. Set number 2 says Reuben did not kill Shimon. Now they are mukhash. They contradict one another. You don't know who to believe. Afterwards, the ones who said that Reuben did kill Shimon, what are they trying to do? They're trying to kill Reuben, right? Because they said Reuben killed Shimon, therefore he should get capital punishment, he should die. Now it turns out they were muzam. Set number 1 was found to be liars. What would you do? You'd kill set number 1, right? But that's the question. But they were already mukhash. Maybe Adam Zoman is only if they weren't contradicted first. But if they were contradicted first, then there's no Adam Zoman. That's the issue over here. Rava says makes no difference. Even if they were mukhash, you still kill them. Adam Zoman, Adam Shul, Chushul B'Sofus, Menorah, they can be killed anyway. That was Rava maintained that. And he learned the case from this complicated issue where 2 people came along. One set said that the Balabayit knocked out a tooth, and afterwards, after he was set free, then he knocked out his eye. So he owes him $1,000, not 25 cents. And then somebody else, another set of Adam contradicted that. And then the first set were found to be liars, so they owed the $1,000 to the Eved, right? Because they were trying to make him lose his $1,000. The second set. That's what Rava said. And that's his proof. And we talk a paskin like Rava because we only paskin like Abaye in those 6 cases, not this case. So Rava says Adam Mukhash, the same thing would be in the case of a murder. 2 people, one set said he killed, one set said he didn't kill. Then you found the first set to be liars. You'd kill them, even though they were Mukhash. Abaye said no, it's no proof in that case with the Eved being not losing his tooth and eye, because there it's not speaking about they were Mukhash. They were not 2 sets. There was not one set of Adam and then another set of Adam, and then the first set of Adam was muzam, right? If they were mukhash, after they contradictors, we found mizaman. That's the only case. There was only 2 sets of Adam over there. One set said this. One set said that he knocked out the eye first, and he only owes him the tooth for the tooth. And the other set were mazim them. So how were they mazim? They said the same thing took place, but it was reversed order, and that's how they're mazim. You couldn't have testified about. No, Hazama, they did both. They turned around the testimony, they reversed it, and they were mazim them. That's the idea. The second set turned around the testimony and said, indeed, they did lose the money. He did knock out the teeth, but you say that he knocked out the eye first, and then he knocked out the tooth after he was freed already. You couldn't have known that because you were with us that day on Sunday. But on Monday, they knocked out the tooth and the eye in reverse order, and therefore he's doing the second set does both. The second set turns it around and is mazim them. So it's not a question of the 2 sets of being makrish first. That's how Abaye learns it. So Abaye says it's not a case of akosh at all. You can't prove the case where there were 2 sets of Adam were makrish one another, contradict one another, and then afterwards one of those sets were muzam. What would you say there? Rava says that's still Eid Hazama. Abaye says no. Now we're up to Amalei Rabach. We're about 16, 17 lines down on Ayin Dal. We left it yesterday. Amalei Rabach Rabika Ravashi. Even though our Gemara yesterday said, Rava said, how do I know it? From that first case. And Abaye said, no, The case is not where there were three sets, meaning set number one, set number two contradicted one another, and then set number three were mazim them, were mazim this and more. No, there was only two. So he learned from the Reisha. From that case, Rav Acha, Rav Aika, Rav Ashi says no. Duki Rav, how did Rav know his deduction? That again, one set contradicted another one, and then one of those sets were muzam that is good as It's from the Reisha. Reisha Mika Meschakchi Shi Mitzia was the second set, the second set, who said what? That the owner does not really owe the money. Why? Because he knocked out the eye first. Was he really mukash, right? Even the ilo mitzvah sadu sakavasayu, we would have held like them. Why? The dina kavasayu paskinan. We would taka paskin like him. In other words, Eda Kosha means you say this and they say that, and we can't determine it. But over here, the second set effectively said they added on something to the first set. The first set said the owner owes him $1,000, right? That the owner owes him $1,000 because he knocked out the eye after he knocked out the tooth. The second set said no, he only owes him for the tooth because the eye was knocked out first. So in that case, either way, everybody's motive that he owes him 25 cents. The question is, does he owe him the other $999.75? Everybody's motive. So he says, Kivin the Ilomats, if had they not been muzam, had the second set not the set who said that the tooth was knocked out last and not muzam, we would have been like the paskin at the yesh b'chlal ma'asai mana. Included in $200 is 100. If one set of items says I owe you $200, and another set said I owe him $100, everybody's motive on the $100, right? Everybody's motive there. So everybody's motive to the 25 cents. So since we're passing like them, therefore Hilka Kamayu Makashi. The second set over there who says he only owes him 25 cents, right? Not $1,000. The second set, they are not contradicted. The first set is contradicted. The first set said he owes him $1,000. The second set said he only owes him 25 cents. So the second set is contradicting the first set. He doesn't owe him $1,000. He owes him 25 cents. Does the $1,000 contradicting the 25 cents? No, he's motivated. He owes him 25 cents. He just says it's $909 plus $999.75. That's what he owes him. So he's not really mukash. It's not a case where one set is makash another one, and then you're mazim one of those sets. Not a case of that. The set over the one that you're being mazim over here is not mukash at all. The one who says 25 cents, nobody's contradicting him because everybody agrees that he owes him 25 cents at least. The question is that you owe him the other $999. So how is Rav getting this idea that if two sets of eight are contradicting one another, one is contradicting the other one, and then you're mazim one of them, it's hazama. This isn't the case where the one over here who you're mazim, the one who said he only owes him 25 cents and you're mazim them, he's not contradicted. The one who says $1,000 also agrees that he owes him 25 cents. That's not a contradiction. He just says you owe him more. That's not a contradiction. On the lay, so he said Rava says this. Where is he? Rava Savar Middle Ratio B'Shosh. Since that ratio, that first case is talking about where there were three sets. One in set number 1 and 2 contradicting another, and set number 3 are masim. The Seifa also that we said at the top of this page that we quoted also B'Shosh is also speaking there were three sets. The Daikmi Seifa Kagom, the Asu Beitrei, two people. The first set came. He says he owes him $1,000. Upaskino didn't find when we paskin based on, like we said at the end of yesterday's daf. It's on this page where we said the whole thing only works. Adam Zone is only if you paskin the din according to them already. You can't be mazim them if they're just arguing in court before a verdict was given. They were mazim already, and you paskin that you owes him for $1,000. For also train. Now two people came after me. The second set came. He only owes him for the 25 cents. The makakshi lulahani kamoy. They contradicted the first set. The second set who says he only owes him 25 cents. They're contradicting the first set. The first set he owes him $1,000. No, he doesn't owe $1,000. Only 25 cents. And now the first set. Yesterday we learned that we assumed that the second set over here was muzam. Now the first set was muzam. Now Mishama Demei Ayin Larav. They pay the Rav. Why? Because they were trying to say, the first set was trying to say that you owe $1,000 to the Eved, and the second set said no, it's only 25 cents. They were makhish them, right? The first set who says $1,000 were contradicted by the one that says only 25 cents. Now you're mazim the first set. He owes $1,000 to the Rav. It's actually $1,000 less 25 cents because he doesn't owe him because everybody agrees on the 25 cents. If Akash is not the beginning of a zama, meaning you could be makish one another and then be mazim, amay mishalmen. Why would you pay? You wouldn't pay. In other words, if Abaya maintains that if two sets are contradicting one another, you can't be Muslim them anymore. Hazam is only if one set said something, you paskin, and then you were Muslim them. But if two sets were contradicting one another and you paskin like one of them, you can't be Muslim them anymore. Over here, if they couldn't be Muslim anymore, why would they have to pay? Why would the set who said $1,000 owes $1,000? Then the second set said, no, you only owes 25 cents. That means that they were contradicted. The first set was contradicted. And now the first set was muzam. You say you have to pay $1,000 less 25 cents. Why? They were mukash. Once they're contradicted, you can't be Muslim. El Shmam, Klash is the beginning. Abaya, it disagrees. Abaya Milcha, no. In the Resha, there were three sets of Adam. You're right. Lo Sagal Lo Shalosh Kikas. Why? Shrektani Aravo came. Remember in the Resha, what happened? The first set said you owe $1,000, meaning right that the you owe $1,000, right? Because or the first set that we're dealing with said you owe $1,000 because he had knocked out the tooth first, so $1,000. Then a set came along and said no, it was the other way around. He knocked out the eye first and only the tooth, and therefore the Eved will not get the $1,000, right? And over there, and how do you know? Sheharav Omer Cain. He says because even the master agrees with that. Now, why would if nobody testified first that the Eved lost any of his limbs, teeth, or anything, why would the master never wants to come forth and say, I knocked him out, unless he's moda. It's taka knas, moda knas is butter. But he's saying that's what the Adam are saying. The master is moda to that, meaning there must be somebody else who already testified that he lost one of his limbs. That's what he says. But the master says, master agrees that he owes him something, that he knocked out one of his limbs. But of course, he would say that he knocked out the eye first, so that he only owes him 25 cents for the tooth. That's the idea of Shema Harav Cain. The group who says, oh no, that when we started off by saying that he knocked out the Meidani, where the verse Meidani Bishpon Shasim Meseno Vehipel Ashino knocked out the Tusha Rea Rav Omer Cain. Rav says that. What do you mean the Rav says that? The Rav doesn't want to come and say I knocked out anything. It must be that he agrees with the first set of Adam who said he agrees that he was knocked out already. That one of his limbs were knocked out, but he says it was the eye that he knocked out first and then the tooth. So the point is that there's definitely another set of witnesses over there. It wasn't like this guy's coming for the first time and saying, no, he knocked out the tooth last. Why would he say Rav Omer Cain? The Rav is agreeing with somebody else. That's the idea over here. Sherei Rav Omer Cain. So in the first case, Lo Sagi Lo Shalosh, there had to be three groups. Sherei Tani Harav Omer Cain. What do you mean the Rav Omer Cain? The Rav Omer Cain is because he agreed with the Adam who said that he knocked out the tooth last, meaning if there were no Adam who said that previously who said that he knocked out the tooth last, why would you say Shah Rav Omer Cain? The Rav is not coming forth and admitting that he did it. So there was another set there. In the Sefer, why didn't you Sharei Eved Omer Cain? Because the Eved says that he knocked out. Eved called he's happy to get his freedom no matter what, whether it's a tooth. Yes, he's better off with the eye being last, so he'll get more money, but he's happy to get his freedom anyway. So you don't have to say in the second case that is speaking about where there were three sets of Adam. There were two sets. One set said that, and as we said, that he owes him, that he's totally free. We know already because there were Adam to that effect later on. But what happened is after there was a psak din that he has to go out free, the master took a slave and ran away, and now they're being brought before a court and deciding who said what. How did that work? But the Eved would always be happy to get his freedom no matter what. So you can't prove from the fact that when he says that the Eved Omer Cain, he's happy with whatever was said, whether the tooth was knocked out first or the eye was knocked out first. So therefore, in the second case, you don't have to say there were three sets of Adam. There were just two sets. And there were just two sets. And in the Sefer, we say that he owes the money to the Rav, right? Because he claimed that the eye was knocked out last, and he claimed that the eye was knocked out last, and he owed money. And then turned out that he was a liar, so he owes the money that he wanted to cause the Rav a loss of $999.75. He owes him that money. So therefore, Abai disagrees. But at the end of the day, we agree with Rava. So Machlokas Abai and Rava presumably go like Rava because we don't pass them like Abai except for the 6 cases. And this is not one of the 6 cases. This is a case of your makrish Adam or makrish one another. Can you be mazim them subsequently? Master of Zera, who says that this whole thing has the meaning anyway? Who says that if he knocks out the tooth and the eye, that at the tooth he goes out automatically, and then the eye owes him money for Master of Zera? Amos Aino. Why don't you say the pasuk goes this way? You knock out an eye, he goes out free. Nepik Beino. He knocks out his tooth. Nepik Shane goes out with his tooth. Simas Aino Bipil Shana. Maybe if he does both, Nepik Beino Shunim. Who says that if he knocks out the eye and then knocks out the tooth, that he owes him for the tooth? Or if he knocked out the tooth and then knocked the eye, he owes him for the eye because he went out free with the first injury. Maybe it works both ways, either or. Either he knocked out the tooth, he goes out free. Knocked out the eye, goes out free. Knocked out the tooth, and the eye also goes out free, but doesn't have any money. The pasuk says Tachaseino, V'shino. The pasuk says in pasuk Chav Vav in Perek Chaf Aleph, V'chiyaka ishas ein avdo as ein amaso v'shichasa lachavshi yishachenu tachas eino v'mshein avdo shein amaso yishachenu tachas shino. It's tachas. It's for either one of those. It's he goes out free. It says for his eye, not for his eye and his tooth. It's for either one he goes out free. So that this should have been settled before, but the point is that he goes out free with the first injury, and then the second injury he pays him for. He owes him nesexari pushevas aboshes because now the man is a free man once he goes out. Once the Evet Kanani goes out free, and Evet Kanani is a half a Jew. Once he gets his freedom, he's a full Jew. Amar Avidi Baravan Afanana Metanina. We see a brisa from here also that what? That Chasha followed by Hazama is a good Hazama. Right? Ganav Pishnam our Mishnah. Ganav Pishnayim, he stole. There were 2 people who said he stole. There were 2 other people who said, or 2 same people who said that he slaughtered or sold. Benimsu Zomin. Turns out that the Edom were liars. Misham Osakol pays everything, all 5. My love, Vito Gene. This is speaking about where he first gave testimony. Let's say that on Sunday we saw the theft take place. Then they said on Monday we saw him slaughter. On Tuesday they said they were mazim on the Geneva from Sunday. And then they were mazim on the tvicha. But once they were mazim on Tuesday on the Geneva, and they said you're liars about that. So for what they testified on Monday about the tvicha, they're like mukash, because once there's no Geneva, there's no slaughtering. In other words, Geneva, we said that selling or slaughtering is that you pay 3 times for a shore is over and above the kefil. Once there's no Geneva, because they were found to be liars on the Geneva, as they have to pay the kefil for that. But they're found to be liars. There's no more issue of the other 3, of paying for the other 3, because there's no more Geneva. If there's no more Geneva, there's no more tvicha. In other words, they were liars about the Geneva. That means that they were mukhash, that they were liars. They're not telling the truth. So when he talk about the tvicha, they're mukhashin already. Still, when they're makish them on Wednesday about the tvicha, right? They testified on Sunday about the Geneva. On Monday about the tvicha. On Tuesday, they were found to be liars on the Geneva. So it comes out then that what they testified about Monday, the tvicha, they were mukhash already because there is no tvicha anymore. You said on Monday they said you owe him 3 times for the tvicha, but they couldn't do that. And once Tuesday came and they were mukhash on the Geneva, that means they were mukhash on the tvicha also. If Chasha is not being vazama, and that you can't be mazim them after your makashem, why would they pay for the tvicha? You just said if you hold like Abaye that once you have one set of Edom being contradicting another set of Edom, you can't be mazim those Edom if they're mukash. Why would they be muzam over here? Because effectively their testimony about the tvicha was mukash because they were liars about the Geneva. So therefore they were mukash and you can't be mazim them. And still the Mishnah says you're mazim them and they have to pay all 5. You would see from over here like Rava that Haklash is the beginning of Azama, meaning if 2 people say Reuven killed Shimon, 2 people say Reuven didn't kill Shimon, you could still be mazim the Edom who wanted to kill Shimon and give them misa, because even though they were makash, you could still be mazim them. Ami says no proof from there. That's not speaking about where they were mazim them on the Geneva first, so they don't come. So as far as the tvicha goes, they were mukash. You were mazim them on the tvicha first. First you say the tvicha, you were liars, you were with us. You couldn't testify about that, so you owe 3 times. And then afterwards, they were mazim about the Geneva. you said the other day, once you're Muslim about the Geneva, and according to Abaye, Adam Zomel Mafreo who puzzles. So why would they be chayiv on the tvicha? Shouldn't be chayiv on the tvicha because they were already liars at the time of the tvicha. So they shouldn't be. That would be according to Abaye, but not according to Rava. Rava holds that Adam Zomel Mikana Labo who not going back. So according to Rava, if you're makdash them about what they said on Monday, that doesn't make them liars on. Even though you're makdash them afterwards, you're makdash them on the Geneva that they testified on Sunday. But at that point, they're liars and they pay kefil. But the fact that you were mazim them later on doesn't go back to the beginning. You can't say that once you're mazim them on the Geneva afterwards on Sunday, well then it turns out that lemafreya they were liars already on Monday. We don't say that. The Edom Zom is only apostle only nifsal only mikana lava according to Rava. But you can't prove anything from here about Haklasha followed by Azama, because over here speaking about where they were Muslim first on the Tvicha, and therefore it's not like they were Mukhash already before you did the Hazama. You were Muslim them directly without being Makrash them first. And therefore you can't prove that case to Rava. But we still have this Machlokas Rava and Abaye, who will pluk to the same Machlokas we find with these other rabbis. We'll pluk to Adam, we'll pluk the same Machlokas, Adam Shuklu Shofsu. This very question that Abaye and Rav have been arguing about for the last blot. If you're makish them first, and then can you be Muslim afterwards? One said either Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Lazar. One says that you do kill them. One says you don't. In other words, one goes like Abaye, one goes like Rava. One goes like Abaye and says you can't kill them because once they're mukhash, you can't be Muslim anymore. And one says no, you couldn't be Muslim afterwards. So we don't know which one says what. We don't Abaye and Rava. We know Abaye says that Haklasha is not the beginning of Azama. If you're Makrashim, you can't be Mazim anymore. Rava says Haklasha is the beginning of Azama. Even though you're Makrashim, you can be Mazim them later on. Pardon? What did I say? Abaye says that I'll say it again just to be sure. Abaye says that Haklasha is not the beginning of Azama, and therefore if you're Makrash them, you can't be Mazim them anymore. Rava says Haklasha is the beginning of Azama. So if you're Makrashim, you can continue the process and be Mazim them. Rabbi Yochanan and Blazer, one says like one says the other. It's not clear who says what. So the Gemara says this time let's prove the Rabbi Blazer Rabbi Blazer is the one who said they're not killed, meaning like Abaye that Haklasha is not the beginning of Azama. And once you're Makrashim, you can't Mazim. Why? Rabbi Blazer Adam Shubin Nefesh. Again, our case. One set says that Reuben killed Shimon. First set number one says Reuben killed Shimon. Set number two says Reuben didn't kill Shimon. What do? And then the first set who said that he killed Shimon are liars. Loken, they get Malchus. Now they weren't Muzam. If they were Muzam, what would be? You'd kill them, right? If they were Muzam. Okay. Rabbi Lezer says Adam Shukri Benefesh Loken. Right? Isaac Rabbi Lezer, if he goes like Rabbi Lezer, the Amar Nerogin. If Isaac Rabbi Lezer holds what? Like Rava, that Hakosh is the beginning of Asama. Amai Loken, why would they get Malchus? Listen to this, right? For lying. This is a lav which can lead to which is given to, meaning it's a lav that when they testify, Besin tells them if you're lying, you can be killed. Why if you're lying, you can be killed? Because when you say Reuben killed Shimon, set number one, if it turns out that you are muzam, if somebody says Imanu Hayisam tomorrow, you couldn't have testified about that, you're going to be killed. And a lav shouldn't Lazaris Besin, the punishment is, in other words, if it's Azaris Misas Besin, Lazaris Misas Besin, not Lazaris Besin. So it's Misas Besin. If it's a lav, that the warning for that lav would be, listen carefully, if you testify falsely, you're going to be killed by Adam Zoman, call lav Shinit Lazaris Besin, and look, you don't get Malchus, because the punishment is death, not Malchus. So here he says that Adam Shekhrushu Benefesh, if they were liars, they get Malchus. Why did they get Malchus? For lying, not for being Muzam. They weren't Muzam. If they were Muzam, they would be killed, right? But Rabbi Lezer says they get Malchus. If it would be Lav Shenit Masaras Bezdin, they wouldn't get Malchus. Ain't Lokan Allah. He says they get Malchus. Why would you get Malchus? You wouldn't get Malchus because it's a lav that potentially can bring capital punishment. Because if you lie about Reuben killing Shimon, it turns out Imanu Ayisim, you're Muzam, you're going to be killed. So we're warning them, be careful, you could be killed for this. In a case like that, where the warning is you could be killed, you can't give them Malchus, right? And therefore it must be a lav shmamina, Reb Lezu, Damein Aragim. This time it's like a brute. Since Rabbi Elazar says that in that case, if they ever found realize they get malchus, it must be that they can't be killed. They can't be killed. Why can't they be killed? Because they're Edom Mukasha, because there's two, one set says you say he killed, they say he didn't kill. Once they're contradicted, they can't be muzam anymore. And therefore it's not a lavshin unless there's Bezin. Bezin can't warn them, be careful, you might be killed. No, they're not going to be killed, because since there's Edom more contradicting, they can't be muzam anymore. So it's a proof that Rabbi Elazar holds like Abaye, that Kasha is not the beginning of Hazama, right? And if you're Makish them, you can't be Muslim anymore, but you could get Malchus. Says the Gemara, why do you get Malchus though? Trey or Traininu. Why would you get Malchus for giving me two? Set number one says Reuben killed Shimon. Set number two says didn't kill Shimon. Now you were not Mazim them. You were not Mazim number one. You didn't say Imanu Ayisim and you're liars and you're going to be killed. So why do you get Malchus over here? It's 2 against 2. Why do you lie on this? Lie on those? I'm going to buy it. But Baharik Baraglov. This is a place where you don't listen to Edom. The only time in the Torah, basically, or almost the only time, the guy showed up himself. Reuben killed Shimon. I swear on the book that Reuben killed Shimon. He swears Reuben didn't kill Shimon. And we're fighting about it, right? They were not Muzam. If they were Muzam, it makes a difference if where Shimon is, if we never find him or not, then he would kill them. They weren't Muzam. So they weren't Muzam, right? We said it's not a Lavshin Nosos Peasant because according to Abaye and according to Rabbi Elazar like him, you can't be Muslim them anymore if they were contradicted. You can't be. You can only be Muslim when two people say so and so. A set says something, and you're mechayiv somebody money or death or whatever. You paskin that way, and then Edom come and are Muslim them. That's Hazama. But if they're Mukhash first, Abaye says you can't be Muslim them. We hold like Rabbi, you could be Muslim them. But Abaye and Rabbi Elazar holds you can't be Muslim them. Okay, can't be Muslim them. But why would you kill? Why would you give them Malchus for lying? Why are they liars? Reuben and Shimon said, set number one says Reuben killed Shimon. Set number two says Reuben didn't kill Shimon. They say, and then Shimon shows up. If Shimon shows up, there's no bigger proof than that. Right? And therefore, they are liars and you give Malchus for that. Yeah. Ganav al Pishnayim. Yeah. Ganav al Pishnayim. Now, this is similar to the first Mishnah, but here he gives them the reverse case. Ganav al Pishnayim al Pi Echad. Let's say you stole. 2 people said he stole, so he has to pay kefil. But only 1 person said he slaughtered. 2 Edom, you need 2 Edom, right? 1 Edom is not Machayev Mamo. So that's pretty simple, the Gemara will say. All piatzmo. Let's say he himself is murdered. And remember something. Kefil is a knas. Motive of knas is potter. Dalve is a knas. Motive of knas potter. We talked before about the slave going out free. If you knocked out his tooth or his eye, that's also a knas. If the master comes and says, I did it, he doesn't go out free. He was motive himself first. Okay. So, Al Piasmo, we're going to talk about the details of being motive with and following Edom, but he says, Al Piasmo, you don't pay the Dalve, right? Because there's 2 Edom that he stole, but that he pays Kefil. There's only 1 Edom, or he himself is motive to the slaughtering and the selling, he doesn't pay Dalve. Pardon? That's right, he wouldn't pay it, but here he wasn't motive in the Gneva. Okay. So, Ganav Tabach b'Shabbos. Let's say you slaughtered on Shabbos. Before we said, if he stole it and he sold it on Shabbos, Nisv of Shabbos Gereh. He sold it on Shabbos, right? So he paid Dalvei because he's not Chayiv Misa for Shabbos. Selling on Shabbos, not Chayiv Misa. But if he slaughtered on Shabbos, that's one of the 39 melachos. So he'd be Chayiv for Shabbos. Come with Rabbanei, so b'Shabbos, or Ganav, or he shechted for Avodah Zarah, which is also a capital case. Ganav B'Shalav, he stole from his father, based on, and his father died before he did the Shechita. Now he owns part of the animal, right? So he owns part of the animal. He's not chayv dalpei. Or going to take it. Let's say he's stolen a way that he acquired it and he's makdish it. How could he acquire it? If he was yakdish it wasn't. He didn't yet shecht it because if he shechted already, that's the mice itself that would give him an acquisition. But then he's still shechting the nignav's item. But he gonna where let's say he was mashana rishus, he took it to another rishus, and the owner was miyayish. We'll talk about that. He was able to be makdish it. So he's no longer shechting the nignavs. It's not the nignavs anymore. And then he tefach u'macher sham tashlim mikefel ve'im sham dalvei. In all these cases, he doesn't not chayiv dalvei. Why? Because if he shechted on Shabbos or Avodah Zarah, he's come to Rabminei. It's chayiv misa, so he's not chayiv. Doesn't have to pay the dalvei. If he shechted something which he belonged, part of it belonged to him because his father died, he stole from his father. So he owes the estate double, right? And then he shechted. So yeah, then he shechted it. So part of it was his already. Or if it belonged to Hegdish already, Nachayv Dalvei. Rav Shimon Omer. Shimon says, Kachim Shechayv Bechriyasim Misham Tashlami Dalvei, Shenachriyasim Potter. What does that mean? Depends on the Kachim. But we talk about the case where you were ganaf and you were makdishit. So the Gemara we'll discuss that. We're going to come out that no, that if you stole somebody's Kachim, some Yankel had an animal that he was makdish for his chatos, whatever, and or his makdish, let's say, he said a reza alai, or he gave a donation of an ola. If he said a rei alai, then he's chayiv to make up for it if it gets lost or stolen. So in a case like that, it's like the owners because he's responsible for it. So shechayv he pays alvei because it's like it belongs to the owner. If he's not chayv because he said harezu, this is an ola. If it's lost or stolen, I'm not responsible. Then you're potter because it's not guna basish. You didn't steal it from the individual. So the Gemara is like it's apiyah echad pshita. Mishnah says if you stole, there were 2 eidim that you stole, you paid double. If it was only 1 aid on the tvicha mechira, right? Then you don't pay dal day, right? Because there's only 1 aid. Isn't that pshita? Obviously, 1 aid is not machayiv mama. Zamri kamashman al piatzmo. Do me to tell you that no al piatzmo is like al pi eid echad. Eid echad mal pi eid echad ki asu eid echad b'tzarf badei. There's a machlokus in Sanhedrin where the 2 eidim testify to something if they both come together, or can you testify? You can interview one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and they mitzarf. We hold. Rashi says we hold like Rabbi Shua and Rabbi Shua, the son of Rabbi Akiva, Bekorcha. That you can listen, you can accept one testimony on Monday and one on Tuesday. So here also, just like by Eid Echad, he's trying to tell you that Al Pias was like Eid Echad, just like Eid Echad. If another one comes and also testifies, Mechayev Al Pias Monami, he also Edom Mechayev. If Edom come afterwards, you're also Chayev. Even though you're Moda Al Pias, Moda B'Knas is Potter. But if you're Moda and then Edom come and testify against you, you're chayav. That's what he's saying. That's the diak from the Mishnah. La puka b'rafuda excluding from Buddha Amarav. Amarav moda b'knas v'chuvo Edom potter. He says no. Once you're moda b'knas and then Edom come, you're potter. That's going to be the discussion of tomorrow's daf. If you're moda, we say moda b'knas is potter, right? Whether you're moda that you knocked out your tooth, you moda that you raped, moda that you stole, that you burgled, moda that you sold it or shechted it afterwards, moda b'knas is potter. What happens to moda b'knas and then Edom came afterwards? So it's a very complicated issue. Where were you moda? That's what Gemara is going to discuss. The Gemara just said our Mishnah is not like Rav Huna. Our Mishnah says, why did it say al pi eid echad al pi asmo? Of course, eid echad can't be mechayev him daled dehei. So what's the chiddush? Oh, the chiddush is that al pi asmo is like eid echad. Just like by eid echad, if another witness would come and join him, even the next day, that would be accepted the same way. If witnesses come after your moda, you're also chayev. Moda b'knas is only potter if witnesses don't come. That's what our Mishnah holds, and not like Rav Huna. Rav Huna says moda b'knas v'chayim is potter. Now we're going to discuss that. Eisvei, you say moda b'knas v'chayim is potter. Eisvei Rav Chisel, Rav Huna. Listen to this case. Ma'aser Gamliel. There was a story with Gamliel. Shesimas ein teviav. Teviav was a tzaddik, but he was an eved, and it's also to free an eved. Right? You're supposed to keep them forever. There's a law of not to free, or it's an assay not to free your eved. And what happened was Rav Gamliel knocked out, by mistake, he knocked out Tevi, is the eye of his Tevi's Abdo. But he was happy that he was free. He was so happy. He says, oh, Baruch Hashem, I'm not allowed to free him on purpose, but I knocked out his eye because he was a good tzaddik. So I'm happy for him that he's now a free man. I wanted to free him, but I wasn't allowed to over in Nasei. That olam bahem tavodu, right? They're supposed to keep them forever. If you free them, you're over. And I say, I didn't mean to be over, but thank God it worked out that he's free now. Now he's part of the minyan. He comes to the daf. He's a regular. He was a big Talmud Chacham at Tevi Abdo. He was happy. Masor Vishu, he found Vishu Amalo. He heard my Eved. He's free now. Amalo lama. Amalesh something said I knocked out his eye by mistake. Let's say Amalo and bracha klum. That doesn't mean anything. Shekvayin, there's no Edom. There's no Edom. There's only right. There's no Edom. Ein l'ch Edom. You're not going to pay. You don't pay the knas. What's the knas that you have to free him? Moda b'knas is potter. Right? What do you say? You knocked out his eye. What's the knas for knocking out your Eved's eye? He goes out free. Moda b'knas is potter, and there's no Edom over here. If there were Edom, fine. Then he would be free. There's no Edom. Hayesh Edom chayav. Mashma, if there were Edom, right? If there were Edom, he would knock out. Even though what? Even though he was moda. He was moda b'Edom. So Rav Huna says moda b'knas v'achagach bo'Edom is potter. He sold him over here. No, he says no. He doesn't go out free because there's no Edom. Mashma, if there were Edom, even though Rav Gamliel was moda, right? That he wouldn't go out. Even if Edom would come afterwards, he would go out free. B'shman moda b'knas v'Edom is chayav. Right? He says moda b'knas. He says you have no Edom. So I'll be asking Shalom Knas, right? Motor Knas is potter. You're motor yourself. Where the Adam? Smash if the Adam would come, then it would go out free because you have to pay the Knas, which is freeing the slave. No, he was motor first, and then Adam came. After Adam came, there's no motor. You're not motor. Adam came. We don't care what you say. But we're talking about if motor Knas is potter. What happens to motor Knas? Every case of motor Knas. I motor that I burgled. I motor that I raped. I motor that I did this. Motor that all the motor. What happens if Adam come afterwards? Motor Knas is potter. What happens if Adam come? So this story, it's mashma. The way he told him, there's no Adam, so you motor Knas doesn't do anything. Your doesn't go out free because he only goes out free because you're motor, right? Motor Knas is potter, and there's no Adam who are going to be mechayev mashma. Then motor Knas like Adam mechayev. I'm gonna let you know. Shannon Leo go from the beznodim. Motor has to be in front of a bezdin. He wasn't motor in front of a bezdin. Had he been motor in front of a bezdin, then even if Adam would have come afterwards, he would still be potter. I Rabbi Yeshua Bezna, but he was talking to Rabbi Yeshua. Yeshua was Av Bezin. Shlomo Bezna didn't have it. It wasn't in Bezin. Yes, Rabbi Yeshua was the Av Bezin, was the chief judge, but it wasn't in Bezin. They were Shlomo Bezin koi. I Vatanya Amrlo. We have a different version of the story. Not that Rabbi Yeshua says Ein B'Berachah Klum because there's no Adam. Mashma if there would have been Adam. Ein B'Berachah Klum Shekfar Hodesa because you already moda. Yeah, you can't let him out free. He hasn't got free. Why? Because you were moda. Moda b'kanas is potter. The kanas is that he goes out free, but you were moda, so he doesn't go out free. My love Tanoim, maybe it's a machlokus. Is that a machlokus Tanoim? Whether going out free based on is meaning the one who learned that the story was he doesn't go out free because there's no Adam. And Mashma, if there would be Adam, he would go out free, even though you're Moda, which means Moda, he doesn't go out free. But we'd be Chayiv, he would go out free. The High Tana, and this Tana who says Shekvar Odesa, so the Amar Shekvar Odesa, so the one who says, it's he's not going to go out free because you were Moda, Savar, Moda B'Knas, Adam was Potter. In other words, he's not going to go out free because you're already Moda, too late, nothing can be done now. You were Moda on your own. Mashma, even if Adam come afterwards, you're Potter, it's low. The Kumama Moda B'Knas, Adam Potter. Everybody holds like Rafuda. Moda B'Knas, if you were Moda in court, Moda in court, Moda B'Knas, Adam Potter. The one who says Shekvar Adam held that he was outside of Besin. He was outside. Everybody else, if Adam would come, the reason Potter over here is because he was Moda chutz the court. So if Adam would come now, you talk to be off the hook. He says, what about the fact you were Moda? You were not Moda in court, right? Moda B'Knas says you were not Moda in court, so therefore your Moda doesn't do anything, doesn't pot to you. And if there would be Adam, you would go out free. The one who says, he was outside of Bezdin, therefore his Hodah doesn't mean anything. And if Adam is meaningless, and if Adam would come, Yitaka would go out free because Adam would come. There's no Adam. The Bezdin was in Bezdin. So he said, no, it's too late. You were already mowed in Bezdin, right? He says, once you're mowed in Bezdin, Adam won't help anymore because Moda B'Knas B'Achkach B'Adam is Potter. So therefore, you were Moda, your slave doesn't go out free because you were Moda in court. If you're Moda in court, there's nothing you can do. He doesn't go out free. You're mistaken. He doesn't go out free. The one who says She'ein L'Cha'edim holds that he wasn't Moda in court. If he would have been Moda in court, Adam wouldn't help. But he says the reason he can't go out free, either way, Rabbi Shua told him he's not going to go out free. Not going to go out free either because there was no Adam to that effect. In fact, if there would have been Adam, he would have gone out free. Why? Because the Hodah was not in a court. And the one who holds that it was, everybody holds, if Moda B'Knas, if you're Moda in court, then Adam can't, you're Potter. Moda B'Knas, you're Potter. So he wouldn't have paid a Knas and the slave wouldn't have gone out free no matter what if he's Moda in court. But at the first time holds, Shekvayin L'Cha'edim Savar, it was outside of Bezdin. He says, so why can't she go out free? Right? Because there's no Adam to it, because you're a Moda outside of Bezdin, right? And if there would be Adam, then you'd be okay. The one who says Shekvar Deisel is because it was in court. The reason, once you're Moda in court, Adam can't do anything, because Moda B'Knas Adam is Potter like Rav Huna. And apparently we go like Rav Huna in this case. And tomorrow we'll discuss further Moda B'Knas Adam. Have a good day, everybody. Talk to you.